we can so easily as well close this chapter of war. We can just move on, close our, Instagram account, or we're just like switch off the volume, meaning that people are turning their eyes away, but also that sometimes you just, even being in this situation, you're as well getting used to, which is the most brutal part of it. It's almost absurd, bizarre realm that is a reality for so many people. This was the core of it, because I just want people to commune with this feeling.
Hania had a very specific idea of how she wanted to lay out the studio, which was quite unconventional, and I was quite concerned initially, but we worked quite a lot to make sure that everyone was happy, and I shuffled a lot of chairs around to move things so that it felt better, so there was an element of compromise, but it was a unique layout which was quite different and interesting.
It's the sort of piece that really has to get under one's skin. The way in which she's exploring the capabilities of the instruments and how they enter into a dialogue with the piano, I think is incredibly dynamic and incredibly fresh. That's a really exciting brief for an orchestrator, to be able to explore that sound world. And because although it's purely acoustic, the sonic spectrum that I think the piece sort of traverses is incredibly rich, and so much of that is in the notes, is in the music itself, but then the way that she talks about her music, the way that she describes it and evokes images, the narrative that she constructs for us as performers is incredibly helpful.
This music really existed mostly on paper, so when I came here and I had the orchestra playing for the first time, it was also first time for me. Some of my ideas, I was not sure if they would work.
It's such an interesting process to see a piece grow and to be involved with it when it's just on the page. But my role really takes place when I get in the room with the musicians, because that's where we start to actually sculpt the sound and it becomes real and you feel the magic in the air. And so there's all the preparation up to that point, and then really I can fly.
I really wanted to have as many characters in this project as possible. Why don't we even go a bit more extreme and introduce real improvising musicians who their language is existing somewhere else? I just asked two musicians that I admire myself, because there is such a massive timpani solo in this piece. I felt like I really would love to have not a classical drummer, but someone who comes actually from a very different background, and he can maybe think a little bit more abstractly about this flavor, which is like a rumbling of bombs and war zone.
It's wonderfully challenging, because obviously you're in a room with other like 44 people, and it's an exercise to humbleness. Like, it's not, all about you. It's not about your ego, but it's about us just adding something to such a beautiful context already. I feel that you have to be restrained, but at the same time to know when to channel your voice. So it's a beautiful exercise, just as a human being, to know when and how to put yourself in a room where there's so much energy.
Attention, 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 attention. The fire alarm has been activated. Leave the area immediately.
The Museum of Polish Jews contacted me in 2020 to compose a piano concerto, which was a result of discovery of Josimas Feldschuh musical notebooks. Usually what you find is not very positive. Memories of even more horrific things that you were not aware. People from the museum, they were so excited that really they wanted to articulate it and share this information with everyone. Josima was an amazing pianist, and she also was a composer. They thought we would commission a piece that will stay and could resonate a little bit differently. It was never peaceful, it was never quiet. Even in a moment of peace, it was always something going on in the background. Warsaw was like almost entirely destroyed. It's a very similar landscape to now what we can see in the Palestine. There are people just like me, they also have social medias, they just communicate, in a very similar way to me. I could actually watch the war on my phone. I also could hear it.
There is no need for concern. Passengers, members of the public and staff.
I think when Hania first played me the music, I was sort of struck by how much space there was to play around. And Hania she was just like, look, you can basically improvise in the way that you want to. That maybe is outside of more like classical worlds and the world of like the orchestra. I also think there's an element of feeling maybe slightly excited, I think, about being in this world, in this kind of soundscape that's quite different from the place in which you normally hear the saxophone.
The intentional part was to bring people coming from different musical backgrounds, because it instantly brings also different characters, different approaches and different language, basically different grammar. We can talk with each other and we can actually collaborate. We can find something that we are all passionate about. If this is possible here, this is possible everywhere. But I'm idealistic as well.
Usually people in orchestras aren't that open for, finding something new, finding new colors, structures. And I was really pleased to see that with Manchester Collective that was possible, and we really, I think, found incredible sound together. And we were really open to make Hania's suggestions, which were also sometimes born within a present moment.
Most of the time players know their instruments way better than I do. Even if I'm quite precise and I write something quite comfortably, this player anyway knows better. That's why allowing people to be more free usually is beneficial simply.
I really wanted to bring the sensory element of Hania's music out, because it's very sensual and it's very tactile, and I tend to work a lot metaphorically, so I think of sound not orally but as a texture or a temperature or a color. All of this stuff really brings the music alive, and I wanted to bring that to this very special project.
You have that freedom to kind of express yourself and your ideas. And then the cool thing that happens is you get kind of pushed to go to kind of areas that, maybe initially I felt a little bit uncomfortable going to, and then kind of really, you can open up a whole, for me, you just find yourself in places you wouldn't end up on your own, and that's part of the magic of the collaborative mixing. Just kind of like let go, follow Hania's ideas, and then, and just see where that leads you. And it's been quite magical to do that together.
It's all about actually finding questions, but I don't know if I can come up with answers, but I think already communing with some of them is already a lot. and music, you know, and all the people who are involved recording and playing, performing, making sound, we are weirdly sensitive, I would say. Obviously, but at some point music makes you a little bit softer. Art makes you a little bit softer, and reading, you know, hearing other people's stories, cinema, I just truly believe in that. So yeah.
A therapist will ask you to draw your feelings, and that's something that I really love, because hearing Hania in the room trying to describe a sound and what she wants to evoke with this sound, it just brings me back to the magic that, you know, that music entails. I can't tell you how I feel, but I can play you how I feel, and that's what we're trying to do with this, you know, what she's trying to do with her piece and what she's trying to do with music in general.